Hey y'all, this is Ange. Are you having trouble with your loop coaster? Well, I've got some tips and tricks to help you get your loop coaster up and running. Today we're going to look at some features of this before you have to completely take your loop coaster apart and put it back together again. Here's a few things you can look at before to help you fix your loop coaster. The first thing here is on page 327. You have large chain and small chain. 33 pieces of large chain and 222 pieces of small chain. Your small chain is in the front and your large chain will be in the back of the coaster. When you're putting the small chain together, there's extra pieces of chain that they always include extra pieces. So you actually have to count out every single piece of chain. I would suggest doing that in maybe groups of 20, groups of 50, whatever works for you, groups of 10, whatever you need to do to put that chain together so it has exactly 222 pieces of small chain and 33 pieces of the large chain. That's a very important thing. If you have any slack, then it will cause your chain to be too loose. It will cause your cart to fall off. It will cause your coaster to not work correctly. The next thing you want to look at is on page 343. That's the elevator for the coaster. And we've got that right here. So you have all these wheels. These wheels should move freely. If they are too tight, they will not work. So when you're put together, make sure that when you're done putting this elevator together, that all the wheels and everything are loose. Not too loose, but you don't want them so tight that they're not going to move. Because when they're too tight in one spot, then the elevator itself will not drop down to the proper position. The third thing, the elevator lower bar placement on page 345. On page 345, it shows you exactly where the lower bar should be. And we actually had this in the wrong spot. So you must make sure this is in, and you can actually see it on here, in the last spot here. Make sure that is perfect. Otherwise, it will not drop down all the way to the bottom. And when you get something out of line here, then you got something out of line on the other side, your coaster just will not work. Everything is about balance with this coaster. Okay, which brings us to the counterbalance. And this is going to be on page 359 to page 543. Page 359 shows you on the counterbalance, you must put everything in perfectly. It's a that's what it is. It balances out. If something is wrong on the counterbalance, then something is wrong on the other side. Every single piece has to be perfect. That's what it works to balance everything out. You cannot mess that up. All right. The height of the counterbalance is key for this coaster to work. So we've actually got a page where it shows you exactly where to line this up. This page here, page 370. On page 370 shows you exactly how to line this up. It must be perfect. If it is not lined up, your coaster will, when it goes back down, if there's any slack, anything, this counterbalance should not hit the top. I've heard some people are having trouble with this hitting the top. It must never hit the top and knock pieces off. We're going to watch it go back up, back down, and watch it come back up again. See, it does not hit the top of the coaster. So make sure when you're doing this, you have it perfect, you have it lined up exactly, or it will not work. All right? If your carts are not transitioning from the elevator to the rack, then try to raise or lower the counterbalance. That's why it's so key to have this counterbalance perfectly lined up. Okay? When your elevator reaches the top, does your rope have any slack causing it to pop up from the pulleys? This rope, this right here, when the elevator goes up, it should be perfect. It should not have any slack or anything popping up. If it has any slack at all, you don't have it tightened or in the correct position. So make sure it's in the correct position, and I'll show you so you can see how it's supposed to roll. See? No slack. You don't want any slack popping up at the top. There you go. And that's it. Those are the tips and tricks to get your coaster up and going. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please make sure to like and subscribe. And I'll see you next time on Brickmetric. And don't forget to check out the other Loop Coaster videos. Thanks so much for watching.